the Crest 8600 series ceiling fan. This is one of the most sought after ceiling fans in my collection. This is not the correct configuration. There inherently were quite a few different configurations. I am looking for the polished brass one with the smaller canopy and the factory light kit. If anybody has one new in the box, I'm usually pretty cheap with this stuff, but I will give a lot of money for one of these. I have not been able to find one yet. All the ones that keep surfacing are all antique brass, and it's very deceiving because the picture on here is polished brass, but that does not match what's inside the box. The antique brass is checked. So this is not exactly what I thought it was when I first bought it, but we are still going to install it and enjoy it, and that's that. Hopefully someday I'll come across the polished brass one. I don't think I've ever installed a Crest fan before, so this will be a potentially interesting experience. There's a stinking stink bug in here. Don't like those one bit. This seems like it's going to require a lot of assembly. Even the motor housing isn't put together. Not so sure this was the right time to open up this project. It's almost 8 o'clock already. How difficult could it possibly be? This is such a nice fan. Look even nicer in polished brass. So I guess this is all we get for instructions, unless the original manual is just no longer present. Oh, there it is. Models 08001 through 08899. Don't tell me there's 898 permutations of this thing available. This has got to be such bad quality. Like, the words aren't even straight on the piece of paper. Housing non-assembled. Yeah, no kidding. This doesn't tell you how to assemble the housing? You're kidding. Wow, this page is the most crooked of them all, I think. Oh no, it does tell you how to do it. Okay. So this is the motor. I think the finish was nicely preserved over the years. It's only a 153 motor, but it is very thick. It's very thick. Actually, I just purchased something recently that we're going to use in this video. Metrics measuring tape. I'm going to personally convert to using metrics instead of the stupid inches and hands to measure things, because I think those are dumb and they're not easily converted. So let's see, how many millimeters is this motor? So if we check it like this, oh, it's 15 centimeters. It's 150 millimeters because it's base 10. So if we measure it like this, well, actually, I guess we don't know. We can't see. It probably only is like that big, maybe. I guess I can't really measure it. Well, normally it's only like, what is it, by 18 or like 20, like 153 by 23 would be a good size. Yeah, I could see it being in the 20s. It looks like, yeah, I don't know, I can't really tell how big it is. All right, that's a fail. I'm not gonna cut that part out. I'll just leave it in. Okay, that was a derp moment. Anyways, moving on from that. So this is for close to ceiling mount, which we don't need that. We want standard mount. Okay. It says place upper motor housing over motor as shown in figure 3A. Align 4 mounting holes. Failure to completely tighten 4 mounting screws in step 2 could result in fan loosening and possibly falling. That's good to know. Certainly don't want that. Alright, you know, it doesn't seem like Crest has outlined which screws go where. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is totally ambiguous. Which is a little ridiculous. So these blades take grommets like the Hunter fans. These, they seem like they're in surprisingly good condition still. Alright, so these have got to be the blade screws. Let's separate these apart here. That's all the blade screws. I guess whatever one there's 4 of is got to be for the motor. Obviously these 4 go through the housing and probably work with these bolts. Whoa. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like there's 2 of those. There appears to be 8 of those. Those have got to be for the blades. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. So I don't know what the heck that goes to. There shouldn't be 16 of anything individually. Where's the screws to put the blades on? Is it these stupid things? You're kidding. Really? I don't know, that doesn't seem... No, it's got to be these. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, those I think are the pathetic little blade screws. That's funny because yesterday when we were testing that unbranded flush mount fan, it took screws like this, and we went all over the stinking town looking for these types of screws. So look at that, Kevin. There we go. These are probably the exact same screws. Oh no, it wasn't for this fan. That was for Doug's fan. These are the same little screws that Doug's fan takes. Ain't that something? You can't make this stuff up. Well, I guess I'm gonna use these screws. It's really ambiguous. These fit, so we'll use them. It says to use a lock washer as well. I'm gonna have to wash my hands a bunch of times during this because these have like a sheen on them. I think this is lying about the fan potentially falling if these screws come loose. They don't seem to have anything to do with the mounting whatsoever. Okay, that's that's interesting. Take a close look at figure 3B. One of the abbreviations should not have been used. Okay, so now we're going to put the bottom portion on, and it is going to use these long screws and a nut. Does the nut go on top or the bottom? The nut goes on top. This is not in the best of condition. There's several spots on here. I'm not sure if this is from the plastic deteriorating or what that is. It's not bad, but it's not perfect. Oh, that cleaned up, whatever that was. Okay, so just that one spot here. I feel like that's gotta be the plastic deteriorating. Yeah, see, there was something in there. See, this stuff was not meant to sit in the box for decades on end, so you know, usually people think, oh, it's new old stock, it's going to be perfect, but a lot of times it ends up not being perfect because, you know, some odd thing happens after sitting in the box for an extended period of time. I'm surprised that this is how this shipped. I mean, I can handle this just fine, but I could see this being very frustrating to the average user who's not particularly mechanical. Yeah, this is not fun to assemble at all. the motive was, I guess, to save shipping costs probably, because it's a very small box. This one is not threading properly. What the heck am I doing wrong here? Okay, that's the housing assembled. Now, we need the downrod, the canopy, take note, Casablanca, that's how you make a ball and hanger assembly. I'm not going to put these too tight because it'll damage the threads and then the thing gets stuck. So I tightened it pretty good like that. It'll be fine. I prefer the one with the holes where you can just put the screw in the hole so it doesn't thread, but this doesn't have that. Okay. I think everything else is standard from here out. Here's the specifications. Well, this is interesting. So, on low, allegedly 55 RPM, 1,250 CFM. On high, it's allegedly 200 RPM at 7,750 RPM. I'm calling major cap on that right now. I don't think that this is going to be anywhere near that powerful. Okay, let's get the bracket on the ceiling. We use our wobbly stool to keep with tradition. If the stool breaks, maybe I'll end up with a high views viral video. I think it's still pretty stable. I gotta push some more wire through this box. This is not enough to be convenient. There's no light currently on the fan, but I am going to connect the light wire because I intend to add a light in the very near future. Okay, so this has on the canopy a punch out here, which is if you wanted to use a swag kit. That's kind of cool. Don't see that anymore. So this has the hook that we can stick one of these holes in the canopy through and hang it while we do the wiring. It's not easy to get it on there though. Okay, so of course that Lorette is no longer with us. I think it's time to rebuild this stool. Okay. And these, I think I'm going to leave the connections inside the canopy. It's all metal, it's enclosed. I think that's good enough. So I think that these other 4 screws, I guess, are for the canopy. Would make sense. Are those 4 holes even? I can't tell how they go. Oh, you know what? That's a little too sketchy. That screw is just not interested in threading in properly. Staple up here. The lock washers on these are always a pain. For some reason, no matter how you move it, they end up going right up against the housing. All right. That should be fine to sit like that for a couple seconds while I grab one screw. Alright, now it's secure. I forgot the lock washer on that one. We'll just put 2 on this one. The ceiling fans around here are changed out so frequently that it'll probably get changed out before anything loosens up to become a problem. Not to mention I would notice it if the screw threaded out that much. Alright, we're at a stopping point. Let's check and see if it works. It works. This just finished. Let's let all that steam and warmth into the room. Okay. I have a feeling these blades might take some time, but so far this is going along pretty well. Oh, that's not good. This is such a nice model fan. Really, really like this one. Can't even really notice those defects in the housing from down below. That's one of the things with ceiling fans. When you look at them up close, you see a lot of imperfections, but then once it's installed, a lot of times you don't see the little problems with them. All right, so these screws are still a mystery to me. I don't know what those go to. The can on these is a weird pattern. It's really small. Yeah, the plastic is breaking down. See the damage it's doing to the finish. I'll have to wrap these in paper when I put it back away instead of plastic. Yep, this is as bad as the Hunter ones is. Yeah, this is so close to the edge of the blade, this is making me nervous that it's going to just break through. It's a flimsy material. Wow, this is really a pain in the neck. Well, I saw this coming from a mile away. I don't want to damage the blades at all. How the heck are you supposed to do this? I wonder if these have become harder with time. The noise isolation is nice, but I really don't like this design. It's a pain to assemble, and over time it almost always looks like the blades end up drooping. I can't get this one stuck. I am so nervous about this breaking. Oh man, this is awful. It's pushing hard so through, it's actually wrecking the finish of the blade as it pops out. This is dumb. This is a stupid design. What a mess. Hey, it's ruined. It did it all three of them. It's ruining the blades. Hopefully the irons cover that up. They really don't. Don't like that at all. This thing better be super quiet after all this. If I recall correctly, it is a very quiet fan. My aunt and uncle used to have one of these in the kitchen. It was the polished brass with the light version. And I always really liked that fan. I wonder how many people returned this thing because it was too difficult to assemble. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a relatively high number. It's a good thing that happened on the non-cane side. That's why I'm so nervous about is wrecking the blade trying to do this because I have to exert so much force on these things to get them to go through. I'm actually worried about the blade just like snapping in half. See, this is wrecking the finish as it comes through. course, the last two are going to cause the most trouble. Okay, those are all on. That was not fun. This plastic is totally spoiled. It's breaking down into microplastics. Actually, the blades have a decent amount of pitch. I still would be very, very surprised if this moves anywhere near 7,000 CFM, but we'll see. This is a slightly different version than the one that my aunt and uncle had, so maybe it's different. And that's not terrible. Not the best I've seen, but it's not bad. I think these are the screws I should have had the lock washers. These are tiny little screws as it is. almost got through on one charge. I should have swapped out the battery prior to starting the video. Oh well. Okay, last step is to add this pull chain bob thing. It's a nice big wood one. It's shiny too. And this is complete. Very nice. Let's see these 7,000 CFMs. Well, it's actually more powerful than I expected, but it's not 7,000 CFM. No way. It's very average. I thought it was going to stink, but it just doesn't stink. Like it's average. I'd say it's probably like around 5,000 CFM. It's a healthy performance for a 52-inch. But 7,700 or whatever it said, it's like off the charts. And this by no means is off the charts. The one at my aunt and uncle's house was flush mounted. That's probably why it didn't work that good. Of course, there's a lot of background noise right now, but it seems pretty quiet. The irons are in almost perfect clock, yet it's still shaking. It looks so weird having that many blades on there. It's a decently slow low and I can still feel a little bit of air. This really isn't bringing back the nostalgia because it's just too different from the one that was in that house. But I very much like the fan, even though it's not particularly nostalgic. It's a very nice fan. And then I can tone this down to 1 and get an even slower low out of it. That didn't make much difference. I guess it is slowing down. There's just so many blades, it looks like it's still moving pretty fast. Yeah, that's a good, nice slow low now.